E.T. here, and this is Roy Cohn. He's been dead since 1986, but a lot of people are still mad at Roy Cohn. They call him very bad names. Everything from arrogant to xenophobic, and those are the nice ones. They use books like this one here to find even nastier adjectives. And they're so angry, even after so many years, that they've assigned Roy Cohn his own chapter in this book here. E.T. is going to offer reasons as to why Roy Cohn evokes such persistent, intense anger. And he's going to explain why he's being disinterred in 2019, almost 35 years after his death. Examples of this anti-Cohn rancor are available in books, magazine articles, plays, and films. Now one, Tony Kushner's 2003 Angels in America, that one is downright scary. Al Pacino plays Cohn. More recently are Where's My Roy Cohn, a documentary. That's where Cohn's enemies say embarrassing, nasty things about him. Then there is Bully, Coward, Victim, the story of Roy Cohn, directed by Ivy Mirapol. She is the granddaughter of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, both of whom were prosecuted and executed for espionage, and that was an episode in which Cohn played a part. So why the hate for Roy Cohn, a man decades in the grave, and why now? It is not because Cohn was a ruthless attorney. No, he simply did what was necessary for clients such as Steve Rebell, John Gotti, Donald Trump. And what he did included browbeating, obfuscation, deception. That was necessary to win acquittals. And that's what many attorneys have done and continue to do. Attorneys who are more resourceful, more ruthless, and more willing to do whatever than Roy, and none of whom are remembered, let alone hated, as is Roy Cohn. And it's not because Roy Cohn was gay. Even back in the era when those of such persuasion had to remain closeted, like the 1950s, Cohn's homosexuality was known about. It was alluded to in the Army McCarthy hearings. And it was subject of jokes and barbs, but never has anyone, before or since, been so pilloried so many years after his death for being gay as has Roy Cohn. Cohn, by the way, never openly admitted to being gay because by his reasoning, gays were effeminate, they were weak, while he, Roy Cohn, was a tough guy. Roy was not hated because he was Jewish. His most severe critics were and are Jewish. And he wasn't hated because he was a self-hating Jew. In fact, Cohn took pride in his heritage. And even if he was self-hating, that would not merit the lasting rancor directed at him. Look at chess great Bobby Fischer, Jewish. He went so far as to deny his own heritage without suffering the barbs directed continuously for decades at Cohn. To understand why Cohn's reputation remains at Mephistophelian levels requires some familiarity with the controversies brewing early in his career. About the time he earned his law degree, 1947, Columbia Law School, and he was only 20, by the way. The United States had endured a half-century of nightmare, 2 world wars, interspersed by 1 decade of frenetic change, the 1920s, and another of economic depression, the 30s. And now, 1945 and after, was challenged by what was perceived to be expanding Soviet and Chinese communism, both perceived to threaten changes here, changes that were economic, social, religious, political, changes that appeared, whether correctly or incorrectly, with the goals of the American political left, liberals. COHN, to put it simply, allied with conservatives who stood against any such movement left, because that movement was perceived to threaten the American way of life regarding matters not just political, but social, economic, and religious. COHN, like Joe McCarthy, for whom he worked as chief counsel, Richard Nixon, Donald Trump, evokes hatred for reasons that run far deeper than any odd or irritating character flaw or quirk. Reasons that involve issues of existential importance, issues that will determine if this or this will be our neighborhoods, families, our country. Well, what do you think? Was E.T. right on this or wrong? Write in your comments below. Subscribe to this channel, assuming you're interested in health, aging, and politics, and like or dislike this particular video. This is E.T. Thanks for watching. Oh, one other thing. I've got another related video up. It's called The Attorney Who Roughed Up Roy Cohn. Check it out.